On July 11, 1996, the partially nude body of a man was found at a construction site in Knoxville, Tennessee. Beside the body was about $4,000 worth of cash in American, German, and Canadian currencies, as well as a fanny pack filled with platinum, gold, and jewelry. The circumstances surrounding the man's mysterious death, along with his actions in the week leading up to it, would create a mystery that still puzzles people to this day. Welcome to the Dominion of Death. I am Braden Wharton, and this is the story of Blair Adams. Blair Adams was a 31-year-old Canadian resident from British Columbia. In early July of 1996, Blair would begin a bizarre chain of events that would lead to his unusual death. The first instance of strange behavior began when Blair started displaying mood swings and paranoid behavior around his family and friends. His mother tried asking what was going on, but Blair only told her that he couldn't tell her about it. On July 5th, Blair went to the bank and emptied out his savings account. He also collected several $1,000s worth of jewelry and precious metals. 2 days later, on July 7th, Blair attempted to cross the Canadian-American border, but was turned away due to the suspicious fact that a single man was trying to cross with a large amount of cash. Such behavior fit the profile of a possible drug trafficker, so he was denied permission to pass into the United States. The next day, Blair arrived at the construction company that he worked at and informed them that he was quitting. From there, he drove to the airport where he spent $1,600 on a round-trip airline ticket from Vancouver to Frankfurt, Germany. His flight would leave the following day. After buying his ticket, he left the airport and drove to a friend's house. He was said to be in a state of paranoia, and he told her people were trying to kill him and that he needed to get out of the country right away. The next day, instead of taking his scheduled flight, Blair instead rented a car and once again attempted to cross the border. This time, he was successful and drove to Seattle. Once in the US, Blair drove to another airport and bought a one-way ticket to Washington, D.C. On July 10th, Blair would arrive by plane in Washington, D.C. and rented a white Toyota. From there, he started driving southwest and ended up in Knoxville, Tennessee. In Knoxville, Blair would stop at a gas station to fill up. Blair then entered the gas station and informed the attendant that his car wouldn't start. The attendant followed him out to his rental car and, after making an attempt at starting the car, told Blair that he had the wrong keys, that what he had did not belong to a Toyota. After this bizarre instance of somehow losing the keys to his rental car just minutes after driving it to the gas station, he would hitch a ride to a nearby hotel. At the hotel, the manager distinctly remembered Adams because he exhibited odd behavior. He went in and out of the hotel's lobby 5 times before finally approaching the front desk to ask for a room. An employee would later say the best way to describe him would be paranoid. He just was very nervous, agitated, expecting someone to come in on him even though there wasn't anybody there. After getting a room, he would then walk out of the hotel at about 7:37 p.m. That was the last time Blair Adams was seen alive. 12 hours later, Blair's half-naked body would be found in a parking lot about a half-mile from the hotel. There were several strange clues at the scene. His pants had been removed in a pulling motion and were turned inside out. His shoes and socks were off, and his shirt had been ripped open. Along with the $4,000 in various currencies strewn around him, he also still had his fanny pack filled with jewelry, gold, and platinum. Also at the scene was the correct key to his rental car, which he had apparently lost just hours earlier. A construction worker would later tell police that he had heard screaming coming from the parking lot where Blair would be found, but said that it had been a woman screaming. After an autopsy was performed, the cause of Blair's death was determined to be a violent blow to his stomach. The weapon, possibly a club or a crowbar, had also sliced his forehead open. He had put up a fight though. During the struggle, his killer had ripped out locks of Blair's hair, and he was found with defensive wounds on his hands and arms. Investigators recovered one long strand of hair from his hand, believed to have belonged to his killer. Certain injuries also seemed to indicate that he was sexually assaulted. Blair Adams' unusual journey had come to an even more unusual end. No one could make sense of his behavior leading up to his death or why anyone would murder him. It could not be determined if Blair's paranoia of someone hunting him down was justified or if his earlier behavior was not connected to his ultimate death. The only possible clue came about from several witnesses who claimed to have seen Blair at a restaurant sitting with a man. A sketch was made from the witnesses' descriptions, but this mysterious man was never found or identified. Whether he had anything to do with the murder or just happened to have met Blair for a while is unknown. To this day, this mysterious case remains unsolved, but his family hopes that one day someone will be able to tell them the circumstances of his death. For now, the frantic escape and death of Blair Adams remains a dark and unusual mystery. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Dominion of Death. If you have any thoughts on the strange death of Blair Adams, please leave comments down below. If you would like to hear more dark stories of disturbing crimes, please like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.